what's poppin', Real 16 TV? It's Cuz OP here back with another reaction. This time I'm reacting to huge no jumper drama. At least Poetic Flacco says so. So we're gonna start the screen recording in 3, 2, 1. Video playing now.
There's more no jumper drama surrounding this interview with the man who unalived Pop Smoke. Now, the interview was heavily criticized because a lot of people felt like it was unnecessary, because it felt like No Jumper went in looking to give closure to the fans of Pop Smoke and to the family of Pop Smoke, and they were trying to get him to sort of...
I ain't gonna lie to you, so I reacted to it, and I definitely put one out, but my whole thing was the fact that, like, you could tell he had remorse for the person. He just didn't know how to, like, display it without like, taking away from who he was. You know what I'm saying? And that's not necessarily good or bad, but that's just what it was. He didn't know how to necessarily show his remorse without disrespecting what he felt like was him. You know what I mean?
Own up to it, take accountability, and admit that he was sorry. But the interview took another turn, right? Because, you know, the person who was being interviewed wasn't cooperative with the narrative that he was sorry, you know, or he felt accountable, you know, or he felt bad about it. As a matter of fact, he felt the opposite, right? And he would also go on to say, you know, that he can't rule out that he would ever kill again, which left a lot of people uneasy.
Oh, you're in a position where you want to express that you're sorry about it, but then as soon as you kind of show a little bit of weakness, people are going to use that against you.
Let me clear that.
Yeah.
I'm not sorry about nothing. You know, it should never happen. But I ain't sorry.
See, and it's a back and forth in the statements that he's making. I'm not sorry, but it should have never happened. That's why I'm like, it's more about, I don't want to say his bravado, but like his creed, like where he grew up learning, what he knew, the way he operated and stuff like that. It's not within what he knows to be sorry about this shit. But when he looks at it and looks at the devastation it caused, or the, you know what I'm saying, the way people feel. I'm sure when he seen dude's mom talk about it and see how the life is over thing was probably ruined how his opinion of her. But he probably was looking like, damn, you know, I know my mama would be sad if it was me. You know what I'm saying? Depending on his relationship with his mama, because, you know, not everybody mama give a fuck about him, but still.
Like, if I could go back, I'll go back. But I ain't sorry. Like,
yeah, like, see, if he could go back, he go back.
Every day. Like, he was rapping about it, all type of shit. So I ain't sorry about it.
About Tony Yayo saying that he's certain that you'll kill again.
I don't know what that is.
He was like 50 Cent's right-hand man.
50 Cent ran, man.
Yeah. He raps and shit now. He does a podcast.
Oh.
So that, I ain't gonna lie, that probably made him pause, because he's like, 50 Cent's right hand man, give a fuck about what I got going on. But he is wild for making that statement, though.
I mean, that's just assumption. You don't know me. Like, I'm not saying that I won't never do it again, but I'm not sitting intentionally going around killing people.
We've heard a lot of people critique the interview itself, but we really haven't heard from the family of Pop Smoke yet. Well, Pop Smoke's mom finally broke her silence and gave her opinion on No Jumper. And
mind you, I don't know if I know what channel she did it on, because it was on the TT Girls channel, and I thought it was alright. I just didn't, I ain't with how the girl was a super grand rising ass person, but you could tell that the lady, Pop Smoke's mother, was an anointed lady. Like when I say anointed Christian lady, you could tell she was doing her best to let go. Even her comment, which sounded very I wouldn't say disrespectful, but you could tell it didn't, I wouldn't say had malice in it, but it had, like, I don't know. Let's see if he,
the possibility of other outlets interviewing, you know, the man who unalived her son.
Right. It's a rooftop.
Oh, this ain't even the one I saw. It's lit.
Right? There were
she looked like Pop Smoke too.
From, you know, the gentleman who was involved, but that's not what we really want to know. We want to know how.
Man, stop. Yo, that's exactly what you want to know. Yo, TMZ does this thing, right? And I always found it like real, like scumbaggy, So where like they will like take you, like they will BS you for like 90% of the interview, right? Like they will ask you, oh my God, how's your day going? How's your dating life, right? But they only have one pressing question in the back of their head, and they will wait to BS you up until the very end, and then they ask you the pressing question. Like, she's only interviewing Pop Smoke's mom.
And on that note, you got to give, you know what I'm saying, the regular podcaster their props, because they'll get into the juicy shit either first. I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's cool to have, you know what I'm saying, you have pleasure for a biz and have the cool little, like, cordial conversation first. But to an extent, it's better they go ahead and get what they had to say off their chest, because then it's like, all right, now that you got that out of the way, do you even need me for anything else? And you'll show, you can, if you're a real interviewer, you'll show them that there's more stuff that you could talk about. You just wanted to get the pressing matter out the way.
To answer this question, like,
no disrespect to TMZ, because obviously
like she's doing this interview for, but
guys,
she's BSing her the whole time.
How do you feel about people wanting to interview someone like that? Should they not be interviewing them, and do you think that maybe it's clickbait?
For something like this, that is horrible. You really...
Hold on. Clickbait is when you comment something that is fake on the thing. You know what I'm saying? You comment something that's fake on the YouTube video so somebody clicks it. What about actually having Pop Smoke's Killer on there and him actually talk about it makes that clickbait? That's not clickbait whatsoever. Is it distasteful? It can be considered that, but also I agree with the narrative like everybody else said. If it was a serial killer, if it was anybody else's killer, but we'd be curious about what happened. Yes, we want to know the ins and outs. You can't know the ins and outs if you're allowed to actually interview the guys, because he served his time, regardless if you feel like it's enough time or whatever. He served his time. I think it's fair for us to be able to hear his story.
Want to interview him and get his opinion
without disrespecting his mother, though.
First of all, you're not helping him, because the whole purpose in LA's law is that at 25 you get out, you try to make something of yourself.
But let's be real here, man. Like, let's be real here, bro. Like, the Democrat,
he is trying to make something of himself. He's doing interviews for 7,500.
Like,
he might not be doing the conventional shit, but he's doing
like
something.
The biggest detriment when it comes to the urban community, right? White saviors who are implementing these laws, like, thinking they understand how things work. These kids who are catching bodies at 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, these kids are not kids who are about to catch a body at 14, go to your youth summer camp, get out at 21, and then become model citizens and go on to become, like...
Bro went to lockdown. I'm not saying he went to lockdown like 24 hours, but he went and sat it down. He got in trouble. He did his time. Like I said, regardless if it was too short or it was too long, he went and did his time. If he chooses to come out and change his life, and I'm assuming that's what that man did, I don't think it's fair for us to pretend like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think it's fair to sit here and act like this motherfucker just went and played fucking, what's the shit, where you pop hands with motherfuckers, Miss Mary Mack and shit. You acting like the nigga went and played around for a couple years. Nigga, he went and got locked up. Regardless of how LA's system is set up, he still got locked up. He had to sit there and think about what he did, and he got out and started doing interviews and shit. Regardless of if it's a conventional job, the nigga is trying to do something different, because he could have hopped out and started just robbing motherfuckers. I'm not even trying to be on his side with the shit. I just feel like people can change, and I don't think it's fair when motherfuckers act like they can't change. I don't think that shit is cool.
Like actual physicists. No, these kids that you guys are letting out at 21 years old, these kids are literally being let out just to go.
He might have wanted to be an astrophysicist. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's fair to act like a nigga is dumb neither, just because of the choices they made in their life. Nigga could be dumbass smart. He just stupid in the sense that he make dumbass choices. But it don't mean that the nigga don't know about some shit. I don't like that neither.
Right back and catch another body, right?
And now, I know a lot of people that have been to prison and came out, and they chose to be on bullshit again.
He literally said, "Yo, I think I got off too light. Like, I think I should have done more time."
They ain't trying to do no shit. They give you 7,500 for an interview.
Sort of reform. But you come out and people are like, "Yo, bro, how you feel about what you did?" That's not...
Yeah, it's kind of like a strange concept. Unfortunately, the concept didn't start with no jumper, and it's not gonna stop with no jumper.
Yeah.
Now, the only difference I would say in regards to this is like for example, when Ted Bundy had his last interview after being convicted, about to, you know, go under like the needle or be electrocuted or whatever, like the interview with Ted Bundy was done because Ted Bundy wanted to make an impact, right? He wanted to put out a message that's going to deter kids from doing it again, right? So Ted Bundy's last interview was all about, yo, tell kids to stay away from...
And it helped a lot of people get into the psyche of what, you know what I'm saying, what Ted Bundy had going on, what his motivations was, different shit like that, because you might, you know what I'm saying, you might be able to pick up on the signs of another young man going down this alley. In the case of bro, you understand what was going on to a degree. If he was broke and he wanted some money, where they live at is also California. And I want to throw out there with California, the one big difference that is from California and a lot of other places is, besides like Houston and, you know what I'm saying, Atlanta and stuff like that, is the poor people actually get to see crazy money. Like, you might go through my town and see Teslas and Maseratis, Lamborghini. You see the shit, but it's not on Los Angeles scale. Like, you feel me? It's not, like, I remember seeing the Rolls Royce, the Cullinan truck out there way before the fuck it was about to come out. I seen it in Los Angeles before. Like, when I was out there vacationing and shit, we like, nigga, that's a fucking Cullinan. Like, nigga, that what? And it's like 2000, like, it's before 20. It's for sure before 20, because, no, it's 20 because the niggas had the masks on. Yeah, it's 20 when it happened, but still, like, it's like, that type of, I want, while I'm seeing what I can get, it'll probably do a lot to your brain. I ain't gonna lie to you.
This right here is a rabbit hole and a slippery slope to degeneracy and deviant behaviors that led.
But I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying you shouldn't figure out a good way to get it.
Save more lives.
I'm just
this interview, when you watch it, it's kind of like you don't understand the purpose of it, right? Because if the purpose was to antagonize the family of Pop Smoke, now I don't think No Jumper was going into it trying to antagonize. I feel like you know, No Jumper and Adam was truly trying to get answers, truly trying to get this man to admit that he felt sorry, he felt remorse, to get closure for the family.
Now, one thing I will admit is I feel like people forget that these different famous people do have families, and they are people that people care about. I think that is something that people do forget. I will say that.
But the interview took another turn, right? It took a turn of, I'm not sorry, you know, I don't feel bad, right? Like, yo, I'm a gangster. I can't.
He never said I'm a gangster, and I will say, I don't think you should always. I think you should charge his comments to his head and not his heart, because I truly don't. And mind you, it's not like I know this nigga, because I don't. But I truly don't feel like deep down inside he happy about the shit that he did. He probably thinking about his friends that are still doing it's still in their case. He probably, like I said, he had time to think about that shit. It's not like he wanted to spend his teenage years not getting pussy and having fun with other kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not what the fuck he wanted. It's just what happened. So it's like, I bet he sat there and he thought about that shit and he like, blah. Now if this nigga get out and he get in trouble for another one, either A, he's poor about some money, and I ain't gonna lie to you, somebody that doesn't always do the money right, that shit happened, or the nigga is fucking just dumb. He a crash out. You feel me? So it's just like, you never know what a person's motivation is. I'm not saying the shit is okay, but I'm saying shit, circumstances has a lot to play on why you do shit.
Promise you, I'm not gonna kill again.
And getting 7,500 for an interview is some circumstances that probably would stop you from doing a lot more bullshit.
And it's almost like, why is it being done? And it's a little different as well, because people will bring up the fact that, yo, there's been other channels that's interview killers, but here's the difference, right? Now, let's say
we're gonna end it on
Keefe D. Even with the Tupac situation, right, with Vlad TV interviewing Keefe D. Well, Tupac and them had an altercation and a confrontation, and that led to them retaliating against Tupac hours later.
Yeah, which is true.
That's a little different, and you can somewhat understand.
It's majorly different. It is. It's majorly different than some people not having no antagonist. They were antagonized at all. They just popped up there. We don't know how they got the information about her to be there, and then in the process, somebody ends up dead, right? So that is a little bit that not even a little bit. It's apples and oranges. It's not the same circumstances at all. But in those circumstances, do you be watching Power? Yeah. If you saw not this episode, but the episode before the last episode with the Slim shit, right? And I'm not saying that shit is right, but you see how they was in the house, it just went to a tussle, and he goes, man, nigga, why did you do that? Now, I'm not saying that shit is right, but what I am saying is that it's very much possible that these young men just was like, shoot, we gonna get this money. We not trying to do nothing else to set a third. Something else ends up happening, right or wrong, and then they had to deal with the consequences. And in his case, he did the time. So him being like, blah, 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 I'm not sorry, that's like, I don't know, I'll give an example, but it's just like this, the example gonna be so fucking long that it don't even matter. My general point is just that, like, he did the time. So if he decides to be like, fuck it, I'm not sorry, or he decides to be like, I'm sorry, technically, what you would want was the justice system to handle him, and they did. Fair or not fair. And that's why I'm like, I'm not team blockstar. I'm not. That's not what this is. I'm just saying.
I essentially had no conflict,
I don't think it's right.
No altercation, no beef, no nothing with a rapper. They just got up one day and said, yo, because this rapper had the nerve to work hard, to change his family lives, to make millions,
the nerve,
you know, to put his blood, sweat, and tears in changing his life's trajectory, because he had the nerve and automated goal to do better with his life, we're coming to take his life and take his stuff.
For that, I don't think it's for those exact reasons and circumstances, but to put it in another set of words, dude had worked and had made a whole bunch of money, and to be fair, Pop Smoke was stealing Rolls Royces and driving across the country. Like, he was living a fun life. He was living a very fun life. R.I.P. that man. Real shit. Because I listen to Pop Smoke like every day now. I ain't gonna lie to you. But to be fair, I think you should look at it more in the perspective of these three young men that are 15 that are impressionable. That's from an area where what is considered right and what is considered wrong is highly skewed. You know what I'm saying? And like Nip put it best, people are in survival mode, so they're not thinking about the shit that they're doing. They just doing shit, right? If somebody tell them, hey, we got the low on this, and you can go from $0 to fucking like 40 a piece, you and your friends, and y'all young, your mindset is like, well, probably, especially if you know plenty of people that do this shit all the time, you like, shit, well, fuck it. Let's go see if we can get this shit knocked out, right? And then goes and see knocked out, nigga, just blah, blah, blah. I don't think it goes, I don't think it's fair to sit here and think that the mindset is they thinking like, I can't wait to victimize me, a nigga. Like, Crip Max said crazy shit like that. That's how he was as a person. He would be like, I'm destruction and blah, blah, blah. That's him as a person. Other people were just like, nigga, I just be doing what I gotta do. And I'm not saying that that has anything to do with me. I'm just saying from the mindset, looking from the outside in, that wasn't a person that yeah, we killed them niggas, blah, blah, blah. Like, what's the M Bands? The M, I can't think of how to say his name, but he from Stockton and shit like that. They not talking disrespectful, like, bro, he wasn't doing all that shit. He just was like, yeah, it happened. Right. He answering the questions being asked.
And then they have an interview to speak on why essentially they murdered this man for no reason. To me, that's unheard of. Or at least it's rare.
Okay, so we gonna end it right there because the topic is egregious regardless. This is a crazy ass topic, but I will say, was it right to do that to Pop Smoke? It was wrong. Is it right to steal? It was wrong to steal. Well, I'm not even saying it from my perspective. From their perspective, it's wrong to do that. It's wrong. It's wrong that these niggas sat here for weeks and playing this type of shit. But to be fair, in Los Angeles, it seems like it's known that if you have some money and you are a known person, you will possibly get your ass robbed. Hell, in Atlanta, I think I watched a Swamp Story on it. They had a crew of niggas that followed and looked for rappers so they could go break into their house, so they could rob those rappers too. What it is it's a mindset. You got 2 million, right? And everybody that's near your ass got like hundreds, thousands, and get to the low, like $5 in their pocket. It's just like, that's like, I think that's actual like sociology, group study of groups. That's just how shit happens in a large study of groups. You have somebody with some money, some people with no money. It just oil and water. There's going to be some fucked up circumstances that happen. Either the rich people are going to punish the poor to the point of no return, or the people with some, or the poor are going to turn into Robin Hoods and destroy the rich to the point of no return. Like, that's just how this shit is going to go. And I'm not saying that it's right, because it's not right. But in a system of capitalism, there's only 3 options. You go from the bottom to the top. And that ain't even 3 options. I just thought about that. You go from the bottom to the top, nigga. You better, regardless if you an asshole about the shit or you got some real good plans about the shit. You got like, I'm gonna start making my own mattresses. I'm gonna use fucking, I don't know, alpaca hair, and I'm gonna do this shit a different type of way. I'm gonna really blah blah blah. Whether you do it that way or you go the blockstar way, this capitalism, the real goal at the end of the day is from bottom to the top. Just, there are better ways to do it than the blockstar way. Matter of fact, you should probably not even try to go that way unless you don't want motherfuckers to see you for a couple of years. But go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. Continue to fuck with me. Holler at me. Bye.